Hello, mighty companions.
Hello.
Welcome to A Course in Miracles. This is A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. This is Earl Purdy. And I don't know about you, but I need another way of looking at a few things in my life right now. That's a way I want to get rid of all fear and conflict.
Amen.
In every area of my life right now.
Amen.
And so that's the topic that we're going to be talking about, fear and conflict, and what to do about it, how to get past it, and what the Course in Miracles says causes it. And so thank you for tuning in online. Thank you for showing up in the body, in person. And we're going to start out with our theme song, which is one of the Course in Miracles lessons, which is, I'm not a victim of the world I see. Say what? I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Even if it looks like it. I'm not a victim I'm not a victim of my fault. Not a victim of events, circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me, including the good stuff. Oh yeah. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Don't forget, including what? The good stuff. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, what? Of the world I see. So breathe and smile at each other.
Wow.
Let's juice it up a little bit more.
All right.
Let's go. I'm not a victim of the beat. I'm not a victim of the sound. I'm not a victim of anything except what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Take a breath. Of the world I see, victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim now, wow, of the world I see. All right, get all y'all in the contract. We got the miracle choir off again. That's cool. I got some loaner copies up here in case anyone wants to follow along in the book in the Course in Miracles. If you're here for the first time, I'm Earl Purdy. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to give you the guidelines from the Course in Miracles itself. Hopefully you're here of your own free will and not because somebody made you come.
Shit.
Okay.
So you need to go to the course today.
I'm not going to touch that line with a 10-foot pole. These are the guidelines for the Course in Miracles. Sometimes I think after 43 years of teaching it and learning it, that what makes the Course in Miracles somewhat difficult for people is that they don't study it the way the Course in Miracles says study it. And it has its own rules for the best way to study it. And basically it says these are the only things you need to remember. And this is the guidelines for this class. You need not believe the ideas that I share with you today. You need not accept the ideas that I share with you from A Course in Miracles. You need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Did I say some of the ideas you may actively resist? Some of the things I say you might not like. Okay? Some of the things I say you might not agree with, you might not like. Some of the ideas from A Course in Miracles you might find hard to believe. I could say something from the Course and you might go, that's hard to believe. That's exactly what I said. Some of the ideas may be hard to believe. And some of the ideas may startle you. I may say something and it actually startles you. The Course says you're not being asked to judge and analyze the ideas. So I don't spend my class analyzing what I'm saying. If you want to see if it's true, according to the Course, the best way to see if it's true is to use the ideas. And if you use the ideas, then he says the ideas will show you that the ideas are true. So you can analyze the Course, but what happens when you analyze the Course is it confuses you even further. So the analytical approach doesn't work with the Course. And so I want to warn you that analyzing it is anal, A-N-A-L, anal lies. Anal lies. So we're going to talk about fear and conflict. And it's going to be on page 28 in the text, chapter 2, if you have the book. There's a prayer right at the beginning of it that is a great prayer that I'm going to say. Let me find it in here. The Course said there are no accidents, so that means that it's not an accident that you're here today. No matter what reason you think you're here, it's not really an accident that you're here. The Course in Miracles is only talking about love or fear. It uses Christian terminology, but it's talking about universal spiritual themes. So don't get fooled by the terminology. It's not a religion, and it's not a traditional Christian teaching. But it uses Christian terminology. It's basically talking about love and fear, and how to let go of all the blocks to the love. And if you tune into the idea of a higher power, which I very much believe in, then the Course says another word for God is love. So you can always use love or fear if you want an instant modern language translation of what it's saying. And then I'd like to say this prayer because it's the way I feel about you. I'm here only to be truly helpful. I'm here only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent love, who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say, and I don't have to worry about what to do because love, Spirit, who sent me, will direct me. I'm content to be wherever Spirit wishes that I be. I'm content to be wherever love wants me to be because I know love is going with me. So anywhere that love wants me to be, I'm glad to be. Wherever fear wants me to be, I'm trying to get the hell out of there. And I'm wondering, how did I get in this situation? How did I get in this relationship? And how did I get in this circumstance? Well, you're there because some form of fear led you there, which is deep. So the Course then says, I'm content to be wherever Spirit wishes, knowing that Spirit goes there with me. I will be healed as I let love and Spirit teach me to heal. See, I'm being healed as I am being taught to heal. And from a Course in Miracles perspective, healing is the undoing of fear. So when it says healing, it's not talking in the traditional way that people think of just the physical body. It's saying that you're healing the more you undo fear, let fear go, let love shine, let love radiate. That's healing. And that the physical symptom that you're dealing with or the physical circumstance that you're dealing with is the result of being in a fear-based state of mind as opposed to a love-based state of mind. So most people don't realize that their consciousness, their thoughts, their feelings, and their emotions are creating their reality and creating their perception of reality. So what makes so-called new thought different from regular thought is in new thought, there are no victims. In new thought, we're all creating our reality, and at some level, we're responsible for how we're seeing things and how we're experiencing things. And in the way the world teaches is that everything outside of us is what's affecting everything about us. And that's why that whole song about I'm not a victim came in. So one way of thinking is seeing you as this unlimited created being that's a spiritual being having a human experience. And the other way of being is seeing you as a body that dies one day. That was born, is going to grow old, and you're going to die one day. And hopefully, while you're waiting for that to happen, you get a couple of dates. Okay. Something kind of go the way you want it to go. So one set of beliefs is based on the idea that you've forgotten your true spiritual identity as love and spirit. And the other way of seeing it is that you think that you're just this physical body that's sitting in the chair right now that's not going to be around forever. Obviously, between those two ways of looking at things, seeing myself as a body that's vulnerable, that can be killed and can die one day would be a more fear-based perspective than one that I'm an unlimited spiritual being that is eternal, immortal, and lives forever beyond the body, that's temporarily using the body right now to learn the lessons in love that I need to learn. So Earth is a school from this perspective. And what kind of grades do you all have? How are you doing? Are they about to expel you? Are you about to drop out? Or are you doing great? You're at the top of your class. You know. How do you know? By the way you feel. You know by the way you feel. Of course, that's the easiest way. That's the right use of judgment is the way you feel, because the way you feel will let you know how you see in things. And if you're seeing things in such a way that you're full of fear, anxiety, or anger, or guilt, then the Course says, well, then you're using some interpretation of the situation that you're in. You're using an interpretation that the world taught you. And that's how you can tell the difference. You know, if I'm using an interpretation that's coming from love and truth and spirit, it teaches that interpretation is going to give you some form of peace. It's going to make you feel more peaceful when you're coming from the truth in you and the love in you. But when you're coming from the part of you that thinks it's separate and afraid, then the Course says at that point you'll know it because you'll feel some form of fear, anger, upset, sickness, attack, and lack. That's how you can tell. I said, wow. Okay. So then it goes, well, let me ask you this. It says, being afraid seems to be involuntary. If you study the Course, it assumes that a person doesn't know what it's talking about. So as you read it, if you're reading it, it always defines what it's saying as it's telling you what it's saying. So there's no need for a person to read a sentence and go, okay, let me see if I can figure out what that meant. If you keep reading, it's going to tell you what it meant. Might not be your interpretation of what it meant, though. Right? For instance, being afraid seems to be involuntary. Semicolon, something beyond your own control. So it seems like something that's involuntary, I just can't help it. It's something beyond my own control. And sometimes it seems like I get angry and I can't control it. Or I become afraid and I can't control it. Fear and anger and conflict, the Course says, are the same thing. So basically, sometimes it seems like being afraid is beyond your own control. And the Spirit is saying, guess what? I've said already that only constructive acts should be involuntary. So does that mean that you're going to get to the point that you can't help but be loving and kind and sane? Yeah. You're going to be involuntarily cool. Yeah, I love that. You're going to get to the point that you can't help but be constructive. That's a good way to be. And I think some of you probably have experienced that when you went into a situation that you thought you were going to be angry and upset about, and you found you were strangely sane. That you didn't go off like you thought you were. Or you were kinder to that person than you thought you were going to be. You were involuntarily loving. I couldn't help it. So only constructive acts should be involuntary. And then the higher self or spirit is saying my control can take over everything that doesn't matter. I love that. And while my guidance can direct everything that does matter. So the Course is saying we all have an invisible teacher. We all have a higher self. And so it can take care of the parts of our life that don't matter. And then what the Course says, what are the parts of our life that don't matter? Anything that you're doing other than allowing yourself to become more loving. What? Yeah, the Course is saying what really doesn't matter is everything you're doing other than your spiritual development and you raising your level of consciousness and allowing yourself to be more of an expression of love. All the rest of the stuff, he says, are things that don't really matter. What's really important is our relationship to Source. Does that make sense to everybody? And everything else compared to that doesn't matter. But then it said, well, I'll take care of what doesn't matter. So what does it matter from that perspective? Well, power, fame, money, physical pleasure, all the things that we think we're taking care of as human beings in the body. So everything that's happening in your personal life could be handled by your higher self, could be taken care of, including your bills being paid and all that kind of stuff, because that's the stuff that doesn't matter, which is deep, because to me, that's the stuff that matters the most. That's the stuff that people wake up. Most people that's getting up tomorrow to go to work, they're going to work not because they necessarily love their job and they feel all thrilled about going. They're trying to take care of their security needs. They're trying, like the Course said, they're trying to feed, clothe, and house their body. The body is high maintenance. You have to feed, clothe, and house it. So being without a body and being in your spiritual state is very economical. So the Course then tells us, if you so choose, see that's the key thing. It says, I'll take care of everything in your experience and I also guide you through your experience if you so choose. If you so choose. The Course in Miracles says, what we do, instead of asking our higher self what to do, we make up our mind about what to do and then we ask for help. So we do it just absolutely backwards. I sit back and decide who or what's going to make me happy. And then I ask Spirit to do it, to help it happen the way I decided it should happen. Which is not the same as me asking Spirit if there's something I need to be doing in the first place. So I make up my mind, then I ask Spirit to make what I want to happen the way I want it to happen. So I'm not really going to my higher self for its wisdom. I'm almost like treating my higher self like it's a genie in a bottle, and the only function it has is to manifest my fantasies and my desires. That's the function of God. I want something, the Spirit gives it to me, what I want the way I want it. So the Course in Miracles is saying, no, that's not the way it really works. The way it really works is you go to an intelligence greater than you, that knows you better than you, that is you, that's connected to you, and you ask it for its guidance from within you, and then you follow its guidance to what you want, and what you really want is happiness and joy and peace. The problem is you decided how you should have it, or who that person is that's supposed to give it to you. And then if they don't do it, and if that person doesn't work out, then I make myself unhappy because I've already decided you're supposed to be the one that makes me happy. And I chose you to be the one. And in return, I promise I'll share my dysfunctional love with you.
Forever and ever.
And forever and ever. I'll share my dysfunctional love with you, I promise. And I'll make sure in most cases, it's only you. You're the only person I'm going to subject to my love. I'm too loving to give it to anybody else but you. Okay. The Course in the way we got in hell and fear in the first place is we forgot to laugh, so don't get too serious in here, okay? We're going to be sincere, but I'm not here to be serious, okay? Because we can let it in faster if we let ourselves have joy and laughter. So the Course says, if you so choose, but your fear cannot be controlled by your higher self. God cannot control your fear. What? you have to control your fear. Your fear is self-control. That anger is self-control. That depression or whatever person's going through is self-controlled. And why is it that you can't give your control and surrender over to your higher self, spirit, God? Well, the Course says, your fear is preventing me from giving you my control. Spirit is saying, your fear and lack of faith and trust is what's keeping me from being able to give you the support and the guidance that you want. Your fear, I love that. It says your fear. So do you know that when you feel fear, the Course says the presence of fear shows that you have raised body thoughts to the level of the mind. In other words, a person who feels afraid has forgotten that fear is coming from their own thoughts in their own mind. And that the way you get rid of fear is to get rid of fearful thoughts. And how do you get rid of a fearful thought? The easiest way to get rid of fearful thoughts is to replace them with another thought. Because you can't think two thoughts at the exact same time. So it's really about me giving myself another set of thoughts than the thoughts that I'm having right now when I'm angry and afraid and upset. Notice that the solution didn't have anything to do with anything on the outside. Notice I didn't say you need to call this person up and you need to go out in the world and handle this situation and that situation. I said that fear, the presence of fear, means you've forgotten that your thoughts are creating your experience in the way that you're feeling right now. For instance, everything that you are telling yourself right now is what's between me and you. There's me, there's you, and your interpretation of me is in between us. There's me and there's you, and what you think about me and what you think about what you're saying, what I'm saying is what you're listening to right now. So the truth is you're never reacting to anybody directly, and you're not reacting to me directly right now. You're reacting to your judgments and perceptions and interpretations of me and what I'm saying right now. Everybody hear me? You are not hearing me right now. You're hearing your interpretations and meanings that you're giving to what I'm saying to you right now. So your feelings are coming from your thoughts and your perceptions and your interpretations. So if you want to control your feelings, all you have to do is control your interpretations, because the way you're interpreting a person is determining how you feel about them. The meaning that you're giving your father is what's determining how you feel when you think about your father, your mother, or your mate, or your boss. That's coming from the interpretation that you're giving yourself, the meanings that you're giving yourself. Then you have your emotional reaction. So all of your feelings are coming from you. Wow.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, I want to hear it one more time.
You want to hear that one more time?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I used to believe that I didn't have any control over my feelings. That I could just feel something and I couldn't help it involuntarily. I would also say stuff like, you made me mad and you are upsetting me. And then the Course in Miracles scrapped that and said, no. The truth is, you're the one that's giving the meaning to everything and everybody you see. Like, you're giving me the meaning I have to you right now. Some people are more special to them than I am to others in the room. So my meaning is more to them than it would. That's why you can read about something going on with a stranger and you don't get emotionally reactive, but you can read about something and it's somebody you know and you immediately react more. Why? The same thing happened to two different people. What gave you the feeling about one of them and not the feeling about the other? Because of the meaning that you have to me, right? And so then that meaning, if I hear you were hurt or something, then the meaning I've given you would make me react in probably a way of sadness or concern. But that's coming from the meaning that I'm giving it. So all of your feelings are coming from the meanings that you're giving everything. And some meanings are, you have repeated that meaning to yourself over and over again so many times that it's almost automatic. And you make the decision to feel bad, and you don't even remember making that decision because you're doing it so quickly, because you always get upset when you see your mom-in-law. Right? I'm going to use real worldly examples to make what I'm saying more practical. All right? So are we still on the same page? Okay? Then that's why you can control your feelings. All you need is new interpretations and new meanings about what's happening, and your emotions will change instantly. You step on my foot accidentally. I thought you did it on purpose. I got angry when you stepped on my foot. Then you say to me, oh, I'm sorry. That was an accident. I didn't mean to step on your foot. Immediately there go my anger. As soon as I get, oh, you wasn't really tired. That was you. Oh, nothing. You go, oh, nothing, no problem. Notice my emotional state changed instantaneously when I had a new meaning of it. He didn't step on my foot on purpose. So now I feel peace. At first I was mad as hell. But it didn't take 10 years of processing of therapy for me to change my emotion. It changed as soon as I had a new interpretation and a new meaning that I was giving myself about the situation. Yeah, I want you to follow me on this. It's the key to happiness, right? So what do you need in order to feel really good all the time? You need interpretations and meanings of what's going on in your life right now that would make you have more peace and that would give you more peace. You need a way to look at that relationship that you can give yourself more peace. I need another meaning that I need to have when it comes to my finances in order to have meaning about it. Because my unhappiness about my finances has nothing to do with how much money or lack of money I have. My unhappiness about my finances is coming from the meaning I'm giving to my current financial state. If I'm saying, oh, I should have $100,000 in the bank and I get $10 in the bank, want to pay me to close my account. You know, there are people who never pay their bills that are perfectly happy and feel peace. You know that there are people with 100 credit score and they're totally chilled out. They don't make that mean nothing to them. Some of the people in here might have 100. Well, you came to the right class. You came to the right class today. Yeah, it's the way I look at it that makes me feel the way I feel about my financial situation. I'm going to keep saying this because the Course in Miracles says we learn through repetition, repetition, repetition. He says we think we learn through understanding. The Course says your understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth. It says your understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth. The fact that you understand it or not has no effect on the truth of something. And so the Course says, so don't be so much concerned about understanding as how you should remember what I'm telling you that would give you that peaceful state that you're looking for. So it's more important to remember what I'm telling you if you're asking me the best way out of a building during a fire than to try to ask me how did the fire get started.
Yep.
And then to analyze the fire. You want to get out the burning building. Then maybe think about how the fire got started. We're just the opposite. You know, we're in the burning building of our life, and then every time Spirit tries to give us an answer, we're busy thinking we need to understand it and we need to analyze how it all happened. And the Course in Miracles is saying you feel responsible for your fear because you're using your thoughts to make you afraid. You are responsible for your fears, right? Because there's another way you could look at whatever you're going through that you could have more peace about it than you have. So the Course is saying to us, well, then why do I want to make sure I have more peace? It's so sane. And because I read it 100 times and taught it for 43 years, I'm going to save you some time. Okay. It's much easier to repeat something till you get to the point that you understand it and that you believe it than to analyze it. That's why it's so important that you surround yourself with people who repeat things to you that's loving, inspirational, supportive, helpful, and kind. Because they're your witness. Whoever the ones who are the most special to you, they're your primary teachers. So don't you think you need to make sure, since they're your primary reflection, that they're saying something to you that you want to believe? Especially if what you believe is going to be what you perceive. Right? So if you find yourself feeling afraid, you've lost awareness of the power you have to determine how you feel by you being in control of what you think. So the Course says, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you those new interpretations and those new meanings that you can have about every situation you're going through right now. And if you use one of these interpretations, it will make you feel more peace. And what's the advantage of feeling more peace? He says, well, the advantage of feeling more peace is you can hear your inner guidance, that still small voice within, and you can hear God communicating with you, because you can't hear your inner guidance above conflict. So your first responsibility is to get back to as much peace as you can, as quick as you can, so you can hear your own guidance quicker than ever and clearer than ever, which will allow you to function at maximum power in that situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So your number one responsibility, so you don't even have to figure out the way you should see it in order to have more peace. Your spiritual wisdom text, whatever that is, mine is the Course in Miracles, it may be something else for you. This isn't the only way. But you want to go, what all wisdom texts have in common is they give us new ways of looking at things. They give us more loving, sane ways of looking at things. It's amazing how many people want to change and feel better and love themselves more, but they don't want to give anything any attention or study. I'll say it again. It's interesting to me how many people say they want to change and have a better life, but they won't give anything any real attention and study.
Definition of sanity and insanity.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, this is one paragraph. I don't foster level confusion, but you must choose to correct your level confusion. You've forgotten that you're the one that's creating your reality, and your reality isn't being done to you. It's coming to you based on your thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs. Your consciousness is creating your experience. I went, okay. So you wouldn't excuse insane behavior by saying you couldn't help it. So why are you condoning insane thinking? I don't condone insane behavior by saying I couldn't help it, because I go, or I do something crazy with you. You're not going to condone it because I said I couldn't help it. So the course is saying, well, why are you all condoning insane thinking? Why are you condoning angry thinking? Why are you condoning thinking things about yourself that's not really loving? Because you are a priceless treasure. Your value is so great that no one can even estimate it. You are more valuable than you can even imagine. So if you don't think that way about yourself, then that's why you feel the way you do. If I don't think I'm great, beautiful, wonderful, peaceful, valuable, well, there's nothing left but thinking I'm insecure, not enough, something must be wrong with me, and there's some reason for me to not be happy. If I'm not going to think thoughts of love about myself, there is nothing left but some form of thoughts of fear. So when I say stuff like you're priceless and stuff, what I'm doing when I say that, I'm really just reminding you of what you really are. That's all I'm doing. I'm reminding you that you're valuable. And I would not be in a special love relationship with anyone that I'm not reminding myself through them that I'm valuable, and I'm also reminding them of their value. Period. There's just some lines in the sand for me now. And being with anybody that doesn't appreciate me is one of those lines. It ain't happening. And I'm not going to be spending all my time trying to convince you that you should treat me good either. I used to waste too much time with that kind of stuff. Trying to get somebody to change and be different so I'd be happy. The Course in Miracles says that's a guarantee of misery. You'll never be happy with that perspective. And so now every time I think that I would be happy if you acted a certain way, I try to catch myself. And my inner voice goes, oh, you'd be happy if Vicky were different? You'll be happy if they talk different. In other words, you're saying that your happiness is dependent on what they do. And so they need to be different in order for you to be happy. Oh, okay, well, you just taken all your happiness out of your hands. Your happiness now depends on them and being able to get them to be the way you want them to be. And the Course says, let me save some time. It'll never work. It will always make you miserable and you will fail. So save yourself a lot of time by letting go of the idea that anybody in your life needs to be different from the way they are in order for you to make you feel good. Now, it says stuff like that. Now, anybody been startled a little bit yet? Then it goes on to say, there's a confusion here that you would do well to look at clearly. You might believe you're responsible for what you do, but you don't believe you're responsible for what you think. I believe I'm responsible for what I do, but I don't think I'm responsible for what I think. As a matter of fact, what I think seems to have been controlled by everything and everyone outside me since the day I was born. So I think I'm in control of what I do, but I don't think I'm in control for what I think. But you are in control at the way you think, because it's at the level of what you think that you can exercise choice. See, I can't make choice except at the thought level. I can choose to be peaceful to you, but I have to do that at the thought level. So all change has to happen at the thought level, at the level of thinking. That's why I have choice. This is happening in my life right now. There's a situation going on in my life right now. I'm responsible for how I think about it, and it's only at the level of my thinking that I have choice. I have a choice about how I think about this relationship. I have a choice about how I think of this job. I have a choice about how I think of my vacation. I have a choice. I have a choice. I have a choice. At the level of thought, I have a choice. So do you know where what you do comes from? Do you know where what you are doing right now is coming from? What you're doing right now is coming from what you're thinking right now. What you're doing right now is coming from what you think. You're sitting in the room because you had the thought of sitting in this room, and it was also a choice you made, just like the Course is saying. Everything that's happening to you right now is coming from your thoughts and your choices, and all your feelings are coming from the meanings that you're giving everything. So your happiness is 100% only dependent on you. Don't have nothing to do with nobody else. First time I heard that, I went, whoa, whoa. Then I mean, I got to get out my butt. It means I got to change the way I'm looking at things if I'm going to be happy. It's so much easier to say, if you all were different, I'd be happy. And then sit back and wait for you to change. And to kind of speed you along, guilt trip you. Can I want to speed you along on fulfilling my fantasy, because that's why you're in the world, by the way. You know that, right? To serve me. I'm going out to get me a partner tonight. I'm trying to go out and get somebody that's going to serve me tonight. I know how they should look, and how they should act, and what they should say. Because, you know, I don't really love myself the way I should. I don't really have the value of myself at the level that I should have the value of myself. So I don't think as highly of myself as I should. So I'm going to need you to kind of validate me. Would you mind doing that? Would you mind showing my value to me through the way you treat me? Would you please make my self-esteem your responsibility? Woo! Woo! And when you don't do it good enough, I'll say you're selfish, because you should sacrifice your happiness for me. That's what love is, sacrifice, you know. And so the Course is saying that's the opposite of love. Nobody that really loved you would ask you to sacrifice for them. Nobody who really loved you would ask you to feel like you're doing something you don't want to do, and it's a loss to you, and you do it to show how much you love them. Nobody that loves you wants you to be unhappy so they can be happy. But you all got it covered because you all are cute. So if y'all just be quiet, you always have a date.
So sad.
Because in the world, if you look good, you are good. Y'all know that? In the world, if you look good, you are good. Right? The guy that can get away with being the best serial killer is the one who looks like a movie star. If the guy came up looking creepy, you tend not to want to go home with him. So they got to kind of look appealing, and then because they look so cute, you go, oh, how many of you all have ever gotten in a relationship with someone that looked cute and they were crazy as hell? But they look really cute. I mean, really, really, really good.
Sometimes I was the one that was.
Hey. So we belong to the Cute Crazy Club, right? CCC. I'm a member of CCC, the Cute Crazy Club. I know I'm crazy as hell and haven't solved any of my real issues coming from my childhood, but don't you think I'm cute? Right. That's right. Anybody that's really cute, they cheating. They got a head start over everybody else. Because people just like them because they're cute. Have y'all ever had anybody want you for your body? Really, sorry about that. Okay.
I might welcome that occasion.
I know we so spiritual. We so spiritual. Well, the thing is, we so spiritual we can't say we get horny. You know what I'm saying? Spiritual beings don't say that in the spiritual class. Okay. It's so funny what we think spiritual is, right? Yeah. So the Course says that, I like that. It says, it's only the thought level that you can exercise choice, and what you do comes from what you think, and you can't separate yourself from the truth that what you do comes from what you think, what you do comes from what you think. He said you can't separate yourself from that truth by giving autonomy to behaviors. So you can't get away with it by just saying, I couldn't help it, I can't help the way that I respond, I can't help to feel jealousy, I can't help to feel depressed, I can't help to feel. He says you absolutely cannot separate yourself from the truth that you are powerful and that you do have thoughts and you can exercise choice. No, I'm sorry. You can't separate yourself from the truth by giving autonomy to your behavior, saying that you just couldn't help going off and losing your temper last night, or you just couldn't help being jealous. He says, but if you want to, your behavior can be controlled by your higher self if you place what you think under the guidance of your higher self. I'm going to place what I think. I'm going to let the love in me. I'm going to let the God in me. I'm going to let spirit in me. I'm going to let it guide me in terms of what I'm thinking. I'm going to let love guide my thinking. I'm going to let peace guide my thinking. And so the Course says whenever you are afraid, it's a sure sign that you're allowing your mind to miscreate. So whenever you're afraid, it means you're thinking something that is not based in the truth and in love and in sanity. So whenever I am afraid, I haven't allowed spirit to guide me. What? Whenever you're afraid, you haven't allowed God, love, your higher self, your source to guide you. Because if you were truly listening to your source, your spirit, your creator, and you knew you were, you could not possibly be afraid. If you really knew spirit had your back, the universe had your back, God had your back, the highest power there is, love had your back, you couldn't be afraid. So how much faith do you have in your higher power? How much fear do you have about everything? Where is the area of your life where you have the least amount of faith in God? It's the area of your life that you have the most fear and upset in. You figure out, and you know what areas I'm talking about. It might have been an area that you were thinking about on the way over here. That thing you were concerned about, that thing you were worried about. Well, that's where you are not listening to your guidance and you're listening to your guidance. Got it?
Yeah.
If you were listening to the truth, your fear would diminish. If you're listening to answers you're giving yourself, you're just as concerned as before, according to the Course. So if I thought I was really listening to my true self, I would feel more peace. If I'm listening to my false self, I still feel afraid. I'm still feeling some type of concern and some type of conflict. And if I tell myself that my peace is going to come if that person or situation changes, then I have just come up with the solution that will disempower me. Because I'm convincing myself that my happiness depends on being able to control everything and everybody outside of me to get them to be the way I want them to be in order for me to be happy. And that's impossible. You can't control everybody around you in order to be happy. So do you know the Course says fearful people are controlling and vicious? Because fearful people think they're only going to be safe if they can control everything and everyone around them. How am I going to be safe with you? I got control over you. So a fearful person is controlling, and a loving person has the most hands-off attitude that you can possibly imagine. They are letting you be exactly the way you are until you are ready to see it differently. I do not give unsolicited advice anymore as much as I possibly can, You're not going to hear me correct you when you're talking. You're not going to hear me tell you another way you need to look at it that you didn't ask me about, because I love you. I love you so much. I'm going to let you have your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own behavior, how you want to express yourself, and I'll assume that the way you're talking to me is the way you want to talk to me, so I'm not going to correct you in terms of what you should be saying to me. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Love allows everybody to be. So someone who loves you the most may look like the person who doesn't care about you at all, because they've given you so much freedom, it'll look like to you they don't care. Because they're not fearful and controlling like your past friends and partners, so they're not somebody that's trying to make you act the way that they think you should all the time, which we'll take as, I must really be special to you since you're giving me all this attention and trying to change me all the time. And the truth is, you're scared to death of me, and you feel like you need to put me under your control in some way in order for you to feel safe. But I'll tell myself it means you're really in love with me. So somebody that loves you is going to be saying, what do you want? 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 What do you think? Where are you at? What's important to you right now? What is it that you'd like to do? How could I support you in that? A person that loves you is asking you a lot of questions. Someone who thinks they know you, they don't ask any questions because they already think they know you. They already think they know what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. So especially if you've been with them for a while. So you'll find sometimes in relationships after a while, you're just assuming you know what the person is going to do. And you all are not asking questions anymore to make sure you're still on the same page. Wow. So if I'm making my happiness dependent on being able to control you, and that's making me afraid because that means that somebody could also try to control me, that's going to send me into fear. And the Course says when you go into fear, that's when you know you must not be listening to the truth and you must not be listening to your guidance. Because if you were listening to your guidance, you'd feel some form of peace. So you are least accurate in your decisions about what to do in your life when you're making decisions out of fear and upset and worry and concern and anger. You're almost guaranteed to make a mistake when you're trying to heal a relationship and have a discussion with somebody and both of you all mad. That's the dumbest, worst time on earth to try to talk something out with somebody else is when you're both angry or upset in some way. Let that person walk away and don't dare say, don't walk away from me right now. We got to talk this out right now. It's like spirit, the love in them is trying to get away from you before they say or do something that could be harmful to themselves and you. So they're really trying to get away so they can go back, even if they don't consciously know it. They're trying to get away so they can get back to some state of peace. And then from that state of peace, they can see more clearly how to deal with you in the situation. And you can do the same thing. And if your relationship is important enough to both of you, then you'll come back together because you want to be together and you want to heal. And then you will come up with a solution that'll work for both of you because you want to be together. And you'll know exactly what to say to each other because if you're feeling more peace with each other, it will be a lot easier for both of you to hear your own inner guidance about the best way to deal with it. Is this making any sense?
Yes.
What I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? So the Course is saying, when you are afraid, angry, upset, it's a sure sign you've allowed your mind to miscreate. And then a person says, well, what does that mean to allow my mind to miscreate? Well, he says, well, you're guaranteed to miscreate or to do something that's not the right way to extend or think if you're afraid. And the only reason why you're afraid right now, Earl, is you are not allowing love to guide your mind. You're not allowing your higher power to guide you. That's why you're afraid. You're not afraid because you can't pay the bill. You're afraid because you're not letting your own higher power guide you. You're not letting spirit guide you. You're not letting spirit guide you. You're not letting the divine guide you. When you're not truly following your guidance, one of the ways you can tell is you're making yourself feel afraid. And if you feel afraid, it means that what you're telling yourself is not your guidance. Then when I first heard that, I went, hell, I'm not listening to my guidance most of the time then. Well, that kind of explains why things don't consistently go in a peaceful, happy way for me. It might all be related. Don't you know that if I don't love myself and I have a lot of fear, I'm going to choose a friend or a partner that validates my fear and I'm never going to feel secure with? Because if I don't really believe I deserve to be happy, there is no way on earth that I'm going to choose someone that's going to appreciate me and see my value. That ain't going to happen. So if you are really insecure and fearful, but you're looking for somebody to love you, well, your spirit is already doing that. So you really do have a love that's there for you, that's loving you regardless of where you are right now. But if you want to choose another person, now you're talking about a whole different deal. Because you're going to attract somebody basically to you just like you. So they're going to also just as much need to have lessons in love and how to be in relationship and partnership as you are. As a matter of fact, that's why you all are attracted to each other, because you're both, at this point, validating to each other the lack of value that you have in yourself. That's why you're attracted to them. And so the more loving you become, the more conscious you become, the more awake you become, then people who would be harmful to you per se would not be attracted to you in the first place. So you will find you'll be in relationships that you're not constantly having to defend yourself because you love yourself too much to attract someone to you who would want to hurt you. That's why the number one priority is to get rid of fear and conflict so you can hear your guidance. And that's what I'm going to cover in this section over the next few weeks.
Nice.
I'm going to stop here. And then what I do after the class, I always stick around to talk or discuss or answer questions for about 10 or 15 minutes. But during the actual class, I like to give as much information coming from the course as I can. Because I think it's fun, because the fun I give when people ask me specific things is that it gives me a specific thing to apply the truth to. And that's always good. So, yeah, let me do the donation part of the class. Let me pass this around. Thank you. Anybody that'd like to donate, make a donation, that's great. We appreciate it here so much. Those of you online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, I'm a full-time teacher of the course. I do it on a love offering donation basis because I don't want a person's ability to pay to have an effect on them being able to receive through me as far as teaching is concerned. If you would like to make a financial expression of appreciation, you can use PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, or Square. All you need is my email address, Earl Purdy at earlpurdy.com, and the Cash App, Earl Purdy at earlpurdy.com. I'm available for one-on-one sessions called clarity sessions, where I work with you with the issues that you're dealing with in your life right now to get you to that place of clarity that you just heard me talking about. I call them clarity sessions. If you'd like to have one, go to my website. It explains it in detail, and you can self-book a session with me right from my website. Also, those who are open and receptive to it, I've been an astrologer and a numerologist for 50 years, and I'm available for that type of interpretation. And you can also sign up for that by going to my website. Spirit has so many ways to answer whatever it is you're worried about. Whatever it is, the Course says, one of the lessons in the Course in Miracles workbook is, let me recognize the problem has been solved. I know it's hard for people to understand that they don't have a problem that hasn't already been solved, as far as how you could have peace. And I'm going to say that again. Your peace is dependent on the way that you're thinking and the way you're seeing things. So no matter what situation you're in, no matter what crisis you may be in, there is a way to look at it and deal with it that you could do it from a more peaceful place. That's when you're going to be able to have the situation solved. Remember that what your goal is peace of mind, because when you get your peace of mind, then you can hear the very specific instructions that you're getting from within yourself, from your guidance about how to deal with that situation that's been driving you crazy. The reason why you have not been able to solve it is because you're listening to you. And then you go, well, how do I tell when I'm listening to my voice and when I'm listening to God's voice? How do I know the difference between what's true and what's false? Well, that's what your wisdom texts are for. That's what the Course in Miracles, my wisdom text, and many people out there, that's there in here. It's to teach me when I'm getting ready to deceive myself again and when I'm telling myself the truth. How to tell when I'm in the presence of someone who loves me and who I love, and I'm in the presence of someone who doesn't. How to be able to tell when I'm dealing with somebody that's asleep and who's therefore going to maybe try to hurt themselves and me, and when I'm dealing with somebody that's awake, which is somebody that's sane, that I'll be safe with, to be in a relationship with. I want to know that before I get deeply involved with you. I want to know whether you have any idea what love and sanity is. And so the Course and other wisdom texts, that's what they're doing. They're trying to say, I'm going to show you the way that you should look at things so that you can tell when you're getting ready to do the thing that you're going to really love, or that you're getting ready to make a mistake again. How you can tell that you are not listening to your true self is if you're depressed behind the answer that you just given yourself, that answer you just gave yourself didn't come from God. It came from you. It's no way you're going to get an answer from love and truth and spirit and it not give you some form of peace if you're seeing it correctly. And that's the key, if you're seeing it correctly. So you're trying to tell me if I was really robbed by somebody, I'm supposed to have peace about it? Yeah, you're supposed to have peace about the way you look at it. Even as you look for the mugshot. So it's not saying that you're to be a bliss ninny that's doing stupid things and not using any kind of awareness in your day-to-day reality. What the Course is saying is the world is neutral and everything that's happening in the world is either good or bad. It's going to be the way you see it. So what you want to do is exercise choice at the level of thinking so that you can be given a way to look at it, that you can keep your peace more about it. Like even if I was told I had to have an operation, normally that's not something that makes somebody jump up and down. They say I was told that. Okay, even if that's something that could seem frightening, there's still a way for me to look at it that I could give myself more peace about it so I could handle the whole thing better. And that's the purpose of the Course. The Course in Miracles is teaching you how to tell a lie from the truth, love from fear, and teaching you how to interpret anything that's going on in your life in such a way that you have more clarity and peace about it, so that you can see how to handle yourself better in that situation. I don't have to talk to somebody for 15 minutes to know whether or not that would be a person, generally speaking, that would be someone I want to get intimately involved with. It used to not be that way. It used to be, I hope that person would be that way. First, I was attracted to them for something they had to do with their body. Of course. And that works both ways. And that body can be their card and their bank account. That body don't necessarily just mean physical body. Okay. So my point is the body and the physical was more, and the outer was more important than the mind and the thought and the spirit. But I found out the most amazing thing, that sane, loving people have bodies too. You don't have to go after the crazy one because they look good. Okay? It's right. That's because they're cute. They're cute, sane people. They are cute, caring people. Right? And if you haven't met them yet, it's because you haven't passed the ultimate test. And what is the ultimate test? Well, you have to be what you want to have.
Oh.
That's the ultimate test. You got to, whatever it is you want to have, you have to be it. That's a universal law. But you have so many people who don't have characteristics that they're looking for the people that they want to love them to have. Right? I want to be with somebody that's smart and exciting and fun and prosperous and abundant and cute and everything. But I have to ask myself, would a person like that want me?
Hell yes.
Right. And that's what right. Absolutely. Right. But you have to have those qualities of trying to act those qualities out yourself, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's so easy. That the Course says the hardest part about it is that it's easy. And one of the lines in the Course is it says, this is not very hard. It's just very different. You're calling it hard, but it's not hard. It's just different from the way you're accustomed to thinking. And it's just different from the way you're accustomed to look. Or you'll go, oh man, I really resonated with what I heard today. I think that way myself. I have those same attitudes. And I bet you anyone that's saying that is someone that's got a pretty cool life. Yep. I bet you anybody that's really agreeing with what I said today are people who have a pretty cool, overall, peaceful life. Because you can't think from a place of love and responsibility and knowing that you have the power of what you think and what you feel is coming from what you think. And you've been working on that for a while, and you're a hellraiser. You're not. You're usually trying to see how peaceful you can be and how many blocks you can let go of and how you can become a kind person. You know, you got an ego, but you are trying to get beyond it. What's going to make you a really a joy to be around most of the time. Right? So I know that somebody that's already agreeing with this is already going to be somebody I'd rather be close to in a friendship, because that way we're going to move fast together, because we won't be delaying each other by trying to change each other. Then you're using your relationship as a distraction instead of using your relationship for satisfaction.
What was that one more time?
You know that you're losing your relationship. I don't know. I don't know. All of a sudden I realized.
It didn't come from him.
There's nothing harder for somebody to ask me to repeat what I'm saying. Because I really, it's coming through me and not from me. And so that's why I tell everybody to record it. That's why I record it. Yeah. So anyway, Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, Denver, Colorado. I do it on Facebook Live, the Course in Miracles. And if you're in the Denver area, you can come and attend in person, 1555 Race Street, Denver, Colorado, 80206, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And those of you online, thank you so much for your responses and your comments and your communication. So I'm going to take a minute right now to close this up. So take a breath, mighty companions. I hope you heard something today that gave you food for thought. Because you found the secret of controlling your feelings today. The truth is that you are responsible for what you think. 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 It is only at the level of thought that you have choice. At the level of thought, you have choice. At the level of thought, you have choice. Everything you see has all the meaning that you're giving it. Your feelings are coming from the meaning. Your feelings are coming from your meanings. Your feelings are coming from your meanings. Your feelings about this situation that you've been dealing with, and you know the situation that I'm talking about right now, that situation that you have been going through, hell through, fear through, you know what I'm talking about right now. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts, and at the level of thought, you have choice. When you're listening to your higher self, your God self, your love self, when you're listening to your right mind, there will be no fear. There will be no guilt. There will be no anger. When you have the correct perception of this situation, how do you get the correct perception of this situation? You need another way of looking at this situation. You need another way of looking at this situation. How do I get another way of looking at this situation? How do I get another way of looking at this situation? You need a wisdom text. You need a spiritual path. You need a wisdom text. You need a wisdom text. For me, it's the Course in Miracles, and I'm here especially to support people that are studying the Course in Miracles as a spiritual path. But at least right now, you are able to know when you're probably telling yourself something that is not your guidance. If you just walked away with that today, how can you tell when you haven't really heard your true guidance yet? You got some form of fear and some form of worry. Are there any areas of your life right now that you're willing to admit that you haven't been listening to the right voice?
Sure. Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd love some acknowledgement. Would that be okay? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, stop. 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 Don't you dare. Don't you dare give me that. Hey, I told you to put your clothes on. Told you. I love you. See you next time. That's right. Earl Purdy, earlpurdy.com.